let's go over this. Remember, we won't take it until Thursday because you guys will be doing the ACT tomorrow. So we've got cube root.
What's the song? How'd we go?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotta be corrected.
It's like, uh-oh. Mandela effect
Keep it
here.
score now.
I can almost do this.
That's not Gavin Crafter's music.
I know, but that's the only song I can think of. It's gotta be corrected.
All right. So what's the first step?
Keyboard arrow down.
Add 3.
Add the 3, right?
Yeah.
Got to get that radical part isolated, right? So all right. So first step is always to make sure the radical part is isolated, and then get rid of that radical. How do I get rid of a cube root? Cube both sides, right? And what you do to one side, you got to do the other, right? Just follow our normal rules. And the cube root of something cubed is itself. So we got the 2x plus 1 equals 512. 8 times 8 times 8. All right, and then from here, just basic solving equations, right? Subtract 1 and divide by the 2. And it's being jumpy today. And we get 255.5. Any questions? That's a pretty easy problem, right? All right, so just take your time and make sure you don't make any careless mistakes. Number 2 is a similar problem. Caleb and Vince, please pay attention. Okay, okay. Please stop. So is the radical part isolated in this problem?
Yes.
Yes, it's already isolated, right? So I don't have to do anything first. How do I get rid of a square root?
Square.
You got to square both sides, right? So now remember, when you square a binomial, you have to FOIL it, right? Oops, that's not there anymore. My bad. The square root of something squared is itself. All right. And when I FOIL this, first is x squared, outside is 5x, inside is 5x, and last is 25. So that x squared showed up. So what kind of problem did it turn into? Quadratic equation, right? So we're going to have to set it equal to 0 to solve it. So I'm going to subtract 5x and 39 to get my 0. All right, what happens to these two 5x's? They cancel, right? So I only have one 5x and 25 minus 39 is a negative 14. So now it looks like a trinomial, a regular, easy trinomial to factor. What are the factors of negative 14 that add up to positive 5? Other way. Positive 7 and negative 2, right?
Maybe that's why it didn't work.
Well, I just can read it because I don't have my glasses.
Well, I have negative 7.
Right, now the answers are what?
The opposite.
The opposite, right? So that we got negative 7 and positive 2, right? But we're supposed to check our answers, especially when we have quadratics, right? So let's put the 2 in. What's 5 times 2? Plus 39. What's the square root of 49? 7. What's 2 plus 5? Is that true? Yeah, so that's a good answer. All right. What's 5 times negative 7? Negative 35 plus 39. 4, right? Negative 35 plus 39 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And what's negative 7 plus 5? Negative 2. Is that a true statement? No. So this answer wasn't a good answer. Okay? Didn't actually work. So the only answer is x equals 2. All right? So for number 2 tomorrow, check both answers. If they both work, great. If only one works, cross out the one that doesn't work. Any questions? All right, number 3. Here we got 4x is our base, and it's raised to the 2/7 power. Oops, there's not, we got an addition sign there. All right, so when we have this type of problem, we want to get that base raised to that exponent, the fractional or rational exponent, isolated, just like the radicals. So we've got that 3 on the left, we got to move. How do I move it? Subtract it. So that's the first step, is to move that 3 over. So all you have is this 4x raised to a power. Now, how do I get rid of that 2/7 power? Yeah, raise it to the reciprocal power. Because what is 2/7 times 7/2? 1. That's what we want that exponent to be, a 1, right? That's why we do that. So all that's left on the left then, because these, basically cancel, is the 4x. And 7 to the 7/2, I don't have that written down, so I'll do that. So 7 caret parenthesis 7 divided by 2. Pretty good sized number. 907.5. And then you have to divide by 4 to get x alone, which came out to 226.9. I had 87, but if you put 9, that's fine. Questions on that one? All right. That's pretty easy too, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Number 4, we have an inequality. Is the radical part isolated? No. So we do this just like if it was equals. So how do I move that 2 over?
Divide.
Yeah, you got to divide it. Okay, so that's the problem right now. Okay, I did not have to switch my inequality symbol. because I didn't divide by a negative, right? If that was a negative 2 out front, then I would have to switch it to greater than, right? So I don't think there's a negative tomorrow, but if there is, just remember that. If you have to multiply or divide by a negative. All right, so just like earlier, how do I get rid of a square root? You square both sides, right? So we get x minus 4 is less than 4, and then we just add the 4. Now, when it's a square root or a fourth root, okay, or a sixth root, even index, I can't have a negative under the radical sign, okay? So I have to take care of that by writing x minus 4, the part under the radical sign, has to be 0 or bigger. So greater than or equal to 0. I have to do that inequality problem also. Okay, take care of not having any negatives under my radical sign. Okay, only when it's an even root. Okay, we'll just add 4. If it was a cube root or a fifth root, an odd root, I wouldn't have to do that because it's okay to have negatives under the radical when they're odd roots, odd indexes. Okay, so if you leave your answer as those two separate, fine. A lot of times we'll write it with both of them. Okay, so right now this is saying x is greater than or equal to 4. Well, that's the same as saying 4 is less than or equal to x, right? So when I put x in the middle, that's why it switches. It's still,
Why is it equal to period? Why is it equal to that?
because 0 is okay, right? What's the square root of 0? 0. That's okay under a radical, right? But you can't have a negative, so that's why we can say it's greater than or equal to. All right, so you'll always use that greater than or equal to symbol for a square root or a fourth root stuff.
Okay.
All right. So if you don't do that last step I did, that's okay. If you just leave it as x is greater than or equal to 4 and x is less than 8, that's okay. But if you want to write that inequality I wrote, just make sure you have your arrow doing, pointing towards the 4, right? AJ, you got a question?
So you don't have to write it out like that?
You don't have to. I always do when it's one of those, but you don't have to. Caleb?
You said the x is like even with the...
Right, when the root, so we don't put the 2, but that's square root, right?
Yeah.
So if that was a 4, we still have to do that. If it was a 6. If this is a 3 or a 5 or a 7 there, we don't have to do that.
You don't do the x.
That, this part here, yeah, the part on the left, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Number 5. All right, so we're looking for f minus g of x, right? So f is 5x cubed plus 8x. No, not 8x. Just plus x, right? Minus 8. There's the f. And here's the g. I'm just going to put it right underneath and do the subtraction. Line up my like terms. We got a negative x cubed. We got a negative 8x squared. We got a minus 4x and a plus 7. All right, 5x cubed plus x minus 8 and negative x cubed minus 8x squared minus 4x. Okay. So there's lots of negatives here, but there's a minus sign out front. So what happens to all those negatives? They become positive, right? Minus a negative. They're 3 times in a row. So it's 5 minus a negative 1, which is 6, it's nothing, there's no other x squared, minus a negative 8x squared is plus 8x squared. It's 1x minus a negative, which is plus 4, so that's 5x. And then it's negative 8 minus 7, which is negative 15. So there's our answer to f minus g of x, just combining like terms. Just remember, minus a negative is addition. Question. All right. Number 6 is the same two functions, but we're supposed to add them. All right. So we've got the same f and the same g, but we're supposed to add them and then do what with our x's? Make them 2's, right? And then find out the answer. Okay? So, adding these, I'll just do it the same way. I'll put them on top of each other. Now it's addition. Okay? So 5 plus negative 1 is 4. X, why are you doing that?
Okay.
0 plus negative 8 is negative 8. 1 plus negative 4 and negative 8 plus 7 is that. Now I'm going to put a 2 wherever there's an x. All right. 2 cubed is 8 times 4 is 32. 2 squared is 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And minus 1. Well, these cancel, right? The 32's. Negative 6 minus 1, negative 7. Questions? You okay, AJ? All right. Number 7. Now they gave us two different. So we got f of x this time was 6x, and g of x this time is x to the 3/5. And we're supposed to do fg of x. Well, what's fg mean? Multiply them, yeah. All right, so this is 6x times x to the 3/5, right? So what am I supposed to do with the 6 and the 1 in front of the x to the 3/5? Multiply those, right? There's a 1 there that we don't see. What are we supposed to do with the exponents? Add them. So we have a 1 and a 3/5. Well, we usually change 1 to whatever the same denominator is, right? So we're going to change it to 5/5. So what's 5/5 plus 3/5? 8/5. And that's all we had to do. So if it was 3/4, we change it to 4/4 for the 1, right? No, if it was 6x squared, we would have changed it to 10/5, right? So change your denominators to be the same. Multiply your coefficients, add your exponents. All right, this time f of x is 12x, and g of x is x to the 1/5. And now it's asking you to do f over g of 32. Okay? So f over g means to do what with them?
divide them.
divide them. So we got F in the top and G in the bottom. What's the higher exponent, top or bottom for the x's? Top, right? So the x will stay in the top. And again, just like last time, I can change the 1 to 5/5. So this is 12 divided by 1, which is 12, right? And what do you do with the exponents now? Subtract them. 5/5 minus 1/5 is 4/5, right? Now we're supposed to do what with the x? Put the 32 in there, right? So go to your calculator. We got 12, parenthesis, 32, close it up, caret, and then again, your fraction, for me, I have to put it in parentheses. Some of you, it puts it right up in the exponent area for you. You don't need the parentheses, but I do. So if yours is like mine, you need to do your parentheses. Then you get 192. So, not too bad, is it? No, we should do pretty well, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we should. Any questions at all?
No.
Okay, so tomorrow, good luck on your ACT, and I'll see you Thursday, right?
I want to copy of this, guy.
Yeah.